Hello and welcome back to the Players Club podcast. This is episode 11.
Episode 11, bro. Let's go.
Yep, I'm your host Brian Perry here with my co-host Jacob McDougald, and we got a lot. We got a lot that's happened so far. Obviously, baseball started. Basketball is in full swing. Playoff runs. Teams are, locking in their positions, locking in division titles. But
The draft is coming up for NFL.
the draft.
They
is
just
coming
had
up
a bunch
for
of
NFL.
pro days.
They
you
did.
know, you see Anthony Richardson.
The picture with the Seahawks or what? Or the
No,
backflip.
the
backflip.
the
Oh, I
backflip, the
forgot
throw
about
into
that,
the roof.
I actually didn't see the throw
You
into
didn't.
the
See,
roof.
he
No.
threw it. Anyways, I mean, if we're kicking right off with like football, he threw it directly into the ceiling at the what was it? Oregon Pro. What team did he play for? I don't remember. Auburn. Whatever pro day he was at.
He's at Florida.
Florida Pro Day. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it was.
yeah.
He launched a nuke
I
straight
actually
into the
didn't see it.
ceiling.
No, I didn't see that. I know that he threw like a 60-yard bomb and then backflipped.
Yeah, he did like two of those. But then they asked him like why he threw it so high, and he said, "I saw Will Levis do it, so I had to."
Is it Will Levis that I just saw that's like completely absolutely ripped now?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
because he
thought.
posted like updates after his like injury and stuff.
He's looking honestly ripped.
Where do you
So
think he's gonna fall?
top 10?
For sure, but like what?
Mm,
Like top 5, bottom
I'm pretty
5?
sure. I mean, I think the Panthers are pretty set on
CJ Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. They pretty said that.
See, I'm mad that the Panthers have been making.
I think
moves.
Will Levis might actually end up in Houston over Anthony Richardson.
Oh,
I think it might happen.
but that's like a ticket to nowhere, bro.
I
Like,
know, but I don't know.
I would feel really bad if he
Yeah.
went to Houston.
I just get that feeling because who was the quarterback they had?
They have Davis Mills right now.
Davis Mills right now. That's another Dave. Like, I'm not gonna say Will Levis is another Davis Mills because that's disrespectful. But I'm saying, kind of keep the same vibe.
No, I totally understand, and that's why it's like, I mean, we see Davis Mills is solid. I mean, especially
Yeah.
what's his going? What's his second or third year? I think. Regardless, it's
Something
just
like that. I mean, he won them games.
yeah, but it's just like what 3 games, 2 games? I don't know.
More than nothing.
Yeah, it's just
More
being
than me and you.
Being true. Being in Houston, I don't know, man. They're just poverty franchise, but. I mean, you want to talk about potential poverty franchises? The Ravens. I don't know what's going on.
That is true. Yeah.
I don't know what the front office is doing.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you saw the tweets or the Instagram posts
About
of Lamar
Lamar's.
saying
Yeah,
that he requested a trade. I feel like the only person that obviously tried to do something was John Harbaugh.
yeah.
And I feel like they just didn't want him. I don't know. I just feel like Baltimore, because they didn't get to where they thought they would with Lamar, they just were like, they wanted to restart.
But he's throwing to Mark Andrews,
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
and that's it.
I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah,
that's why he's like,
they had Hollywood Browning, like don't have him anymore. They just signed
Hollywood Brown's in Arizona, right?
yeah, they just signed Nelson Aguilar, but like, come on. No offense, but he's solid, but he's not like a crazy receiver. Lamar needs targets. That's the only reason why he's running. all the time.
No, yeah. I mean, that's what everyone says.
And I just think if people like, no disrespect to Danny Dimes, but if Danny Dimes can get a big 4-year contract,
whoa.
no, come on. You be honest. Be honest, Giants fan. You know, if he can get a contract like that, Lamar Jackson needs to be paid, bro. If Jimmy G can get another starting job,
that's the one
Lamar
right there. That's the
Jackson
one right
needs
there.
to be paid.
That's the one right there. Yeah. Lamar Jackson.
Nah,
definitely
both of them. Come on. Lamar, Danny,
Okay,
don't even do that.
I
know
know
he's-
do that
I know
'cause
he's-
it's the same thing I would say if I put Derek Carr in the situation. You would say.
All right.
So obviously there's bias.
Fine. Anyways, you
But
get what
no,
I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Obviously, Lamar definitely needs a contract because you got to remember he came in first year. Joe Flacco's hurt.
Yeah.
Comes in like 2 games before the end of the season and carries them to the playoff. Like no, not 2 games before the season. Like 8 games into the season, halfway.
Mm-hmm.
Leads them to the playoffs, winning the division. Right? I'm pretty sure they won that division.
Does he was his MVP season the following year, or was
Yes, it was the
Yeah,
following year.
The following year.
After his rookie year or the year after, something like that. But it's like, he actually, like, he proves he's good. Obviously, you give him – I mean, I would love to see him in San Francisco, like in a San Francisco offense. That would go crazy.
I feel like
because you have CMC, who
Yeah.
you're going to have to stop. But then if you're going to stop CMC, he's going to run. But then if you're going to stop his run, you got CMC. Then you got Debo, who can run and catch. CMC can catch as well.
you got Kittle out there. You got to watch out.
They would be absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
I feel like it takes a really good, which San Francisco has, a really good coordinator and head coach to be able to use Lamar properly. Because he can't just go anywhere. I feel like if he goes anywhere, he'll be limited. That's why I don't like him with the Patriots potentially. Because I know I mean, yeah, we know how great Belichick is, but
he can't use running quarterbacks.
He's a system QB kind of person.
He can't use running quarterbacks because you saw he had to change his playbook when he got Cam Newton.
Yeah,
but it didn't work as well as everyone thought it was.
He's just not that kind of. That's not that kind of offense he prefers to run. But so Lamar going there just because it's Belichick doesn't mean you're gonna be successful. Like you're gonna want to still be Lamar. Yeah, and John Harbaugh knows how to use Lamar, and they have that trust. So he just needs to go somewhere like. Big trust, yeah.
Big trust, that's what it was.
He needs to go somewhere where they can get creative and utilize that. You know what I mean?
And I think, you saying a good coach. I think John Harbaugh was a good coach because John Harbaugh let him play his game.
Exactly.
But there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
There's just nothing there. If you're throwing to one person and they know that you're only going to throw to that one person because he's your only good person, and then they stop that, then you got to run and they stop your run, and then it's like, okay, he's going to throw to, people that I honestly don't know the names of.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point.
Yeah, unless you're like a diehard, like actual true Ravens fan, you're not gonna know.
Who I know a couple, and they're just defending everything, and they're like, "Oh, one of my friends is saying Lamar's asking for too much money." I'm like, "Yeah, because you can say that if you want to sign more people, but y'all are not signing anywhere else. So pay the man. You know what I mean? And he's worth every single dollar.
He's not asking for like a Patrick Mahomes contract.
Yeah, he's just asking to be paid his due because of all he does for the offense." Like, let's be honest, the physicality level could be over at any moment. So he needs to get paid right now.
Yeah, he's not.
Before it's too late. Because if he gets hurt again and then comes back, his value is going to go down, and then teams aren't going to
He's not asking for like a, like a $50 million a year contract. He's just not asking for like $8 million a year either. He's asking for like, a reasonable contract.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Which is totally fine.
But another quarterback, that has been a big topic of discussion this offseason.
You mean the GM of the Jets right now?
Yes, the general manager of the Jets and the owner of the Bears.
And
Aaron Rodgers.
What is happening?
I don't know. I find it funny. Honestly, I find it comical because he's out here. He's like, well, I don't know if you saw what he said on Pat McAfee's show, but he said that he's like I didn't like hand him a list and say get these people, but like low key, I don't think. I mean, obviously he didn't like hand him a list, but I feel like he definitely had.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like
they're signing any and everyone but Rodgers right now.
It's the New York Packers at this point.
Did you see Mecole Hardman sign with the Jets?
Yes, I did.
I mean, cool.
I did.
But they're signing all these other pieces, but they're still lacking the one guy, which is why
Zach Wilson's gonna have a bunch of weapons. I guess you could say. I guess you could say, right?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh Lord. If that actually ended up happening, and say Rodgers just like, you know what? No.
Just retires.
Yeah. No, because they're trying to figure out contract and like obligations, like who's gonna get what and make it fair and stuff. But it's taking a little long.
Definitely longer than expected. I thought this would be
because Rodgers said before, like before free agency started, he said, I don't plan on taking that long this time, like last year. He said, I'm going to, take a few days off.
He took his 4 days isolation.
And then he said, it'll be out soon. When is soon?
He isolated in
Clock's
February.
Ticking.
Was it not? Was it like late February?
I think it was something like that.
Yeah, like early March.
But regardless, it's still.
Today's the last day of March.
Yeah. So what's going on?
I don't know.
New York, get it together, bro. Rodgers, get it together.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's gonna be, if he doesn't go there, it would be so funny, because the Packers would have just gotten like absolutely fleeced, and then he just goes, "Nah, we'll just retire."
And they'll be stuck with Jordan Love and Randall Cobb.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's all I could think about.
That's it. That's all I can remember. That's there. Matt LaFleur, he's there, right?
I think he's still the coach.
Yeah, so I mean. Good luck.
No, yeah.
It would be the Lions and Bears just fighting it out.
Wow. Never thought I would say those two teams in
right?
a sentence before.
Right? Anyways, while we stay on NFL, I want to move on to, every week, been plugging the email.
You have.
Finally paid off.
You have.
We got some. From, avid listeners of the podcast. Definitely not friends who I may or may not have begged to send in some emails.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
Definitely not.
We get
no,
what?
Never.
Our listeners are not just people that we know that we tell them go listen to.
No, yeah, we have
definitely not.
a general audience.
Yeah.
All right, first email. Hot take. This is coming from Nathan Brown. Shout out Nathan Brown. That's my boy. The Commanders could be a top 5 team under new ownership and a QB. Sincerely, a sad and tired Washington sports fan. P.S. Good work on the pod. Super entertaining. Appreciate it, Nate. Now, what do you think about that?
No. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean. No,
it's great. No, I was gonna say that too. No, like, come on now.
Not a top 5 team. Like,
you could be top.
There's scary Terry there, but I mean, at the end of the day, you wouldn't win the division because you wouldn't be better than the Eagles, who just went to the Super Bowl. Who
even though they've lost a lot.
Literally have the same exact team, pretty much.
No, they got rid of a couple of pieces.
But they have AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith, and I don't know if you saw. I don't know. It was a GM, and I think he said it on New Heights. He said, "We're paying Jalen."
Oh,
like they're not gonna let that. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna have a whole,
as they should,
a Lamar situation.
I'll pay Jalen. I'll give the Commanders this. They'll be top 4 in their division.
Word. Not 1, 2, or 3.
That's about it.
Not 1, 2, or 3. Word. No, they not top 5. I mean, I don't know. Like, he probably knows. Obviously, he's a diehard.
Washington fan. They are under new ownership. Well, they're about to be.
Dan Snyder's out.
He's gone.
His office is clean. Magic Johnson and whoever else he was with, I can't remember.
There was a lot of people that were getting in on that.
No, but it's like the Magic Johnson group and the other person. I can't remember who he's with, which is really disappointing. But they pretty much they just set like the new bid as well, like another new bid to actually get in. They're like the front runners right now.
Okay, that's good.
So that's I mean I don't know if that's the same Jay-Z ownership group that was.
No clue.
In it. Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
I think. The problem is, will they sign a QB or will they go and draft a QB and then kind of build a QB?
Where are they in the draft?
I have no idea.
A new mock draft like
before us, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Before 23.
I think they're before us too.
Yeah.
But
so then what, like 14, 15 maybe?
Probably middle of the pack. That wouldn't be bad. The thing is, like you said,
they're not good. If they get a new quarterback and new ownership, they wouldn't be like, this team. Like they would fight in the division, but I still think obviously like
with Ron Rivera and Eric Bieniemy. That can be a good combo.
Yeah.
They could be better than last year. They could be a top 20, top 15, maybe.
I would say top 15. Like if they get like a good, decent quarterback that
But top 5 plays. In a league where you have the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And you have the Bills.
The Eagles.
And you have the Eagles. And you have the Bengals. And you have the Niners. That's 5 right there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. No.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it's a hot take for a reason.
Yeah. It is a hot take in all capitals.
That's exactly what it was, actually.
Yeah, I read it.
Oh, you're looking at okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, they will be like a top. There's a chance they could be top 15, but then that's tough too because then would that mean that the Eagles, the Cowboys? I never want to say that name.
No, the Cowboys. The Cowboys are gonna be there. They're always there in the regular season.
Yeah, but then I'm saying like if you're gonna call them top 15, that means that the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Eagles would all be above 15, which is like kind of hard.
Last season they were.
Yeah, but like. There's a chance
it's
that
the NFC Elite, right?
I called it Weast because we were called the NFC Least, so I just changed the L to a W.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of names, but
2 L's make a W.
Yeah, there's a lot of names for it, but I think everyone could be pretty strong.
Yeah.
Next year, it would take a lot to win the division, but they don't need to win it to get in the playoffs. They just have to be better than,
the Giants.
Yeah,
and the Cowboys.
But the Cowboys, I mean, they're gonna be.
It's the Cowboys. Everybody hates on them.
They're gonna go.
Everyone hates the Cowboys except unless you're.
They're gonna go 13-4 or 12-5 and have all the hype, and then playoffs. Nope. Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Next email. Still football. This is from David. What's up, Players Club? This is David from Maryland. Shout out, David. I'm a big fan of y'all and have been tuning in every week. I got a sports question for y'all. It seems like Lamar isn't going to stay in Baltimore. Being a Redskins fan, I mean. Commander fan.
That's a good one. That's a good joke.
Commander fan. I personally think he would fit our offense perfectly. Where do y'all see him going, and where do you think he's going to end up? Because there's no way nobody takes him. Keep up the good work, my brothers. Hey, appreciate it, bro. Yeah. Now, I mean, we just talked about this, but Lamar is not going to Washington. I'm sorry. There's no way. And
I don't think.
With the pieces that they have Brian Robinson still. They have Terry McLaurin. The QB.
Terry.
The
NFL scary Terry.
A QB could be good for them. But, I think if he went there, that would be the only way they could move up to a potentially top 10 team. If Lamar went there. But I'm going to be honest. Just knowing the people, knowing Ravens fans, knowing being from that area, the state of Maryland would be so backward. The fan base of the Ravens in Washington would start going at it. More so than they already 100%. Do. If Lamar just hopped over 45 minutes to an hour to the other side of the state, it'd be chaos.
Yeah. No,
I could
I
not
agree with you.
I don't think
you know, like we said, I don't think he's gonna go to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see Lamar going to a team that's not a contender already.
Yeah.
You know, I can't see him. Like, I don't think he's gonna go because they offer him more money on a, you know, like, not to say it, but like, you know, like one of the worst teams. Like, not trying to say anything like that, but you know, not a team that's gonna essentially be a contender. Like the 5 you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's no shot he goes to that because this is an MVP. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of like, it's kind of like in the basketball situation, he's kind of like Russell. Like,
yeah.
I feel like he's Russell Westbrook because he was MVP on a team that, you know, he was obviously the best player on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's like, you know, he wants to prove that he's MVP. He wants to prove that, you know, he can go win. So he goes to teams. And then obviously hasn't found like the spot. But then Russell's been on 5 teams in 5 years. I don't think Lamar's gonna bounce around like that.
No,
that's the only thing. But I feel like he's one of those where like you were an MVP and now you're like looked at as like you're not even being looked at as like a former MVP. You know, a guy who can impact the game in so many different ways because people always thought, oh, he's a running back, but the man can throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The man, like, in the red zone hasn't ran for a touchdown in the red zone.
Yeah.
I think, like, in his whole career. All his running touchdowns have been from, like, 30 yards out.
Which is an even more insane
runs and then
stat.
Just makes everybody look dumb because they're falling to the floor. So it's like, in the end zone, he's not running. He's utilizing his arms. He's utilizing the offense the right way. Or handing the ball off to the running back to you know, get their touchdown. So it's like, it's kind of like in that situation where like Russell was you know, doing all these different things. You know, Lamar runs, he throws. Russell was rebounding, passing, scoring in the Thunder, and then just never got to a team where he was, you know, Russell again. And I don't want Lamar to go to a team and not be Lamar again. Yeah. Because then he's just going to be forgotten.
That's my issue. Because if he goes somewhere and they, like, hold him down, we know what he can do. He's just going to fade.
I'm telling you. I know they got Brock Purdy, but he's pretty much out for the year because I think he had Tommy John surgery.
He can't come back next year?
He has Tommy John surgery. That's like a whole year. So if he comes back, it'll be like
playoff time next year.
Yeah, like January. Like you need like a whole year off. Like
it'll be like the same.
It'll be January, February when he got hurt.
But Trey Lance is coming, right?
That's the thing. They have Trey Lance. Now are they gonna trust Trey Lance?
I wouldn't.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do you pull the trigger on Lamar?
The only place I could see Lamar going right now is San Francisco.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Like, as far as it checks off the contender box, they have a great offensive coordinator and head coach.
A great offensive line. Great just great offense.
Great offense and a defense too.
Yeah.
So they have all the pieces like that can need to make a push. And Lamar Jackson would just be an insane, like, Brock Purdy, we love him. You got to understand, you know, like you said, even if he wasn't hurt, from like a winning standpoint, I mean, you got to go with like the best guy. And then you have a shot
That's what I'm saying. And obviously your best guy was Jimmy G. He leaves to, you know, Vegas now. I was gonna say Oakland. Oh, did you? Actually, you know what? I'll let you finish, and then I'll add on something about Jimmy G in Vegas. What did they call them? They said it's a good-looking man.
No. Did you hear the? Nah. You can finish. Finish.
So you know, I feel like are you gonna trust Trey Lance now? Even though you were gonna trust him beginning of the year, but then he got hurt. So obviously Jimmy G comes in, and then obviously he gets hurt. So Brock Purdy comes in. Yeah, Brock Purdy's, you know, your most loved player.
Glock Purdy.
You want him, you know, to play, but obviously, you know, as a baseball fan, I know Tommy John, they shut you down for a whole year. So he's not going to be able to throw, which is his job, until like January, because then he has to go through the extensive rehab. There's a chance he could come back early. You know, you can never put that away, but if you really want him to be healthy, you're going to try and, you know, rehab him to his full strength and not push him because it's such a physical game. You know, he could get hurt the same way. And that's not what you want. So it's like, do you trust Trey Lance, or do you just go and say, we want to win now. We're in a win now mentality. This guy's out here. He wants to trade. We got some things. But then the thing is, if they trade, who are they going to trade for him?
Exactly.
That's
they couldn't keep everyone and get Lamar. They'd have to give up somebody. And that's not something you really want to do.
So I mean, I would love to see him in San Fran. I feel like that's where I want him to go, because I feel like that's where he would go crazy there. I think they make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like you said, there's no way. Oh, absolutely. I would agree. There's no way nobody takes him. So, like, do you think there's any last-minute effort from a team that would, like, try to sign Lamar it was getting close to training camp and the season, and Ravens aren't doing anything. Because I can't think of one right now. Some people were saying Tampa Bay, but they already got Baker, and also they have like an old offense. They don't really have that many pieces, regardless.
I could see Atlanta doing it too, but Atlanta's going full Desmond Ridder.
Yeah,
like they're fully on the Ridder train right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, obviously you got to trust your young guys at a certain point.
Yeah.
So I see that. I mean, I really don't know, and that sucks. I mean, Arizona's gonna hang on to Kyler as much as they can.
Mm-hmm.
LA's got Matthew Stafford. LA's got.
Oh yeah, Stafford is coming back.
The other LA teams got Justin Herbert. So I really, obviously, there's a bunch going on over there. And,
yeah, and as far as the North goes, I mean, Kirk Cousins is locked up in Minnesota.
Got
Seattle's got Geno. Yeah, I don't see anyone else, which is that's not.
I could see the only thing that happens if like somehow the trade falls through with the Packers, the Jets could come
the Jets. Now that would be interesting.
With all the things they've gotten.
Yeah. I
think I could see it happening.
I think before the whole Rodgers situation was developing, they were the top two people that they were looking at.
Yeah, so it could still happen. I mean, it sucks that it hasn't happened yet, and I hope he doesn't go a whole year without playing. Mm-hmm. So you just gotta wait and see. But
yeah, I mean, you mentioned I like the Russell Westbrook comparison, but there's a lot. He's been in the media a lot recently. Russell Westbrook, and you know what? I mean, we can move on to NBA now, but that bothers me. Because we've been on here and we've talked about the Russ hate and, there needs to be more understanding. Not everybody loves him again.
Everybody loves him again. Something? Everyone loves him again because...
The media just 180 back to Russ is cooking. Russ is doing that guy.
He's not on the Lakers anymore.
Yeah.
And everyone was looking at him as...
He's still in the same stadium.
Yeah, but everyone was looking at him as...
Arena, sorry.
Everyone was looking at him as, the anchor to that team. You could say, I say in quotes.
Which is ridiculous because it was supposed to be Anthony Davis who couldn't stay on the court.
But, so it's now he's in LA. Well, that makes no sense, Brian. He's now on the other LA team.
Yeah.
The Steve Ballmer LA team.
He had a great
game.
The last couple of games he's been playing well.
Yeah.
And it shows when he's the number one option, he really can do everything. He was shooting he's 5 for 5 from the 3-point line. He had 36 and 10.
36 and 10 against Memphis.
That overhead picture
of him on the floor.
Was
Memphis,
so clean.
Memphis with that camera, bro, goes so hard. Because I don't know if you saw Jalen Green's picture that they took.
No, yeah, they posted a bunch of overhead.
Jalen Green's dunk, bro.
Yeah, they posted some old ones.
They killed it with that camera.
They had one with Magic and Jordan, bro. They've been doing that for a while. I don't know why they need to put that out more often. Because that picture album cover that.
It goes
that was
hard.
So cool.
But it's the same thing, in LA, LeBron is very ball dominant. Mm-hmm. So Russ will then have to learn how to play off ball because James Harden, like we mentioned, is ball dominant. But when they play together, James Harden can, work off ball because James Harden played with Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So James Harden knows how to play
I think that's
a
the
Steph
issue.
Curry role.
That's the issue that Dallas is having right now too.
Yeah, that's and it's what I mentioned before, and I asked you about it. So I feel like now, obviously, Paul George has always played off ball, and he played with Russ before.
Yeah.
And Kawhi, I don't think I've ever seen Kawhi dribble the ball down unless it's a fast break.
Yeah.
So, what better person to hold the ball than Mr. Triple Double himself?
Yeah, and they weren't
a great
even
facilitator.
And without them on the floor, it just gives him more space to do what he's got to do.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that. He
cooked Dylan Brooks. I don't care if Dylan Brooks had 22 or whatever it was. He got
when they got the foul and he looked at Dylan Brooks and did the
called him trash. He called him trash.
He called him trash and he smiled on his face too. That was
and Dylan got quiet because he couldn't say nothing.
Exactly. So I think in the post game interview they asked him, it was something along the lines of how does it feel you brought back? There's something about bringing back your skill, and he was just it never left.
It never left. Yeah.
My role just changed, and that mindset is true. You look at everything he had to do. He wasn't asked to be triple double Russ from OKC or from Washington when he was in LA because you're with other guys. They take the load off of that because he was doing that because he had to, but he didn't have to anymore.
Yeah.
And then say what you want about him coming off the bench. That can be an issue of coaching. The roles were changing. It was just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Same thing with Houston. With him and Harden together, yeah, they put up numbers, but it's him and Harden, not just Russ.
Yeah.
And then when you're in, with the Clippers, obviously if Kawhi and PG are on the floor, yeah. Russ, go be Russ. But when they are on the floor, you can still do what you got to do, but also affect the game in other ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's cool to see the love again.
I'm just happy to see him smile again.
Yeah, no, it's happy.
I'm just happy to see him happy on the court again. Which
Yeah.
He looked happy when he was playing good, but it was when he was crip walking essentially in LA on the basketball court. That's when he looked happy, but you could see that like he wasn't content with where he was.
There was a lot of stress and
now he's like being back to being just having fun playing basketball, and you could see it. And just even in the locker room, you see it. So,
I mean, when it comes to shooting, like he never shot 5 for 5.
No,
with the Lakers.
West Brick was always his nickname. Yeah.
So that was cool. I like that. And then, bro, last night, what happened with Milwaukee?
Oh, bro, I didn't even know that happened.
I didn't even know that happened either.
I wake up and I check my phone and I go on Instagram, right? And it's like I think it was like a picture of Jason Tatum, like. Where like he was acting surprised, and they're like, "What happened to Milwaukee?" No, it was Jason Tatum, and it was Giannis on the bench. It was Giannis on the bench, and he was like kind of looking up, and he like you could see he was like a kind of like what just happened face, and I'm like, what happened? I see the score says 140-92, and I'm like, what in the world? Because remember, like what blew my mind more is not that Celtics scored 140, because Tatum had 40 and Jaylen Brown had 70. They literally had half the points of the team. Like, it's literally exactly half the points. It's the fact that Drew Holiday only had 6 after dropping career-high 51 like 2 nights before.
He was tired.
He was tired. You got to give it to him. But Giannis only had 24. He was the leading scorer on that team.
I don't know.
Like, was it that they just, like, they were seeing 17 rims?
I think it was just an off night.
They were seeing, like, 3 rims and, like, just shot to the one on the right or the one on the left, or – they just were getting locked up by Boston. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know. But like,
I didn't watch it, but
what?
I feel like it's probably a combination of
points.
An off night along with great Boston defense. We know how the Celtics can play,
That's
on the defensive side of the ball.
Though, Jacob. Like, it's not like a normal like blowout. This is like 48 points. This is a slaughter.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it has much implication as far as the playoff goes.
Oh no,
because this is likely gonna be. I mean. Some people could like
what an Eastern Conference final matchup again.
I mean, the Sixers are there, but I think this is likely an Eastern Conference final matchup again, and then it's really not going to matter.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
This game is like at this point they're both in the playoffs, end of the season. Yeah, they were hyping it up like it's a big matchup or whatever, but I don't think it means that much.
So
to be honest,
if you were like to go there, who wins MVP? Who's better like this year, Tatum or Giannis?
Overall, I would say Giannis.
Not like in general, like who's better. I'm talking about like this season, like who?
This season, Giannis.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's been super consistent. Like Tatum was good early on, and then he kind of like dropped off a little bit. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just media coverage, but recently, like, there's been a lot of
he dropped 40 on Giannis.
There's been a lot of people saying though that Giannis should be more in the conversation, and it's voter fatigue because he already got back to back. But I don't know. It felt like Giannis was putting up 30, 35 every single night, along with like 20 rebounds and stuff. So
who's
I don't
your
know
MVP? Who would you have as MVP?
My MVP.
I'll tell you this.
I know who's gonna win it.
I'll tell you right now, it should be Jimmy Butler, because if he doesn't play, the Heat don't win. Golly, it is tough being a
oh my goodness,
goddamn
bro.
sports fan now.
I know it's hard.
The Raptors.
It's hard.
The Raptors. We had 2 people. No, not the was. No, because I think he played against the Raptors. It might have been the Knicks game. The Knicks game, he didn't play. And we had 2 people in double-digit points, and they were Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. Mm-hmm. No one else had double-digit points. But Pat Riley's over here saying undrafted talent. Our highest drafted player, I'm pretty sure, is Oladipo.
And that was when?
I think because Oladipo he was high lottery, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, because Tyler was 13, Bam was 14, Jimmy was 30. Kyle Lowry was late in the first round as well, or was he?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Look, Miami, what seed are they right now?
7.
7.
They're in playing.
And Brooklyn's been winning, so they're going to lock up that 6th seed.
He was drafted 24th to Memphis, Kyle Lowry.
I just think Miami, I mean.
Yeah, Oladipo was 2. He's the highest drafted player.
Yeah. Maybe it's time to start drafting, Pat Riley.
It's not that.
It's almost as if
we have Jovic. We have Nikola Jovic on the bench. He doesn't play.
Why? Is he good?
You're asking me? I don't know.
Well, gotta send an email to
I'm
Spoelstra.
not Spoelstra. I wish I was. That kid would be playing. Yeah, the Heat are 7 right now.
What's the Heat's record?
40-37.
I mean, who's below them?
The Hawks and the Raptors are.
The Hawks are 8.
38-38. Bro.
I thought the Hawks were lower than that.
No, they're 38-38. Like the Raptors.
Did you see the stat line that came out for them? It was like
perfectly mediocre.
Since the trade deadline or whatever, they've literally been like in their last 4 games they're 2-2, in their last 6 games they're 3-3. Like every single, just going up to like 15.
At home they're 22-16. On the road they're 16-22. You can't be any more. Like,
I mean, how do you just become that mid?
Their last 10 games they're 5-5.
How are they that mid?
They're literally a definition of mid.
Every night, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss.
The only thing is they're not mid in is the conference. They're 24-23.
Oh yeah, that's so much better.
Yeah, but I don't know, bro. It's tough. I mean, there's really like only like a couple teams. The West is way more like entertaining.
The West is way more interesting.
Like the East is yeah, Sixers, yeah, Celtics, yeah, Bucks, no one else. Mm-mm. Everyone else is like fighting for goddamn play-in. It feels like.
Yeah, no, every single.
When you had like, and they're like, we're talking the 4th seed in the West. You got like the 13th seed that can make the play-in. It's like the 6th seed, the 4th seed could fall into play-in. It's like everyone's within like a game of each other. Like that's fun.
See, the play-in tournament has been a thing since the bubble, but like this is the first time where I think every single person's tuning into like every game in the West every night because you know that the implications it's gonna have. Even last season it wasn't this close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now since everyone's like 38-37, 37-38, you know, like in that range, like there's like 5-6 teams that are all like almost the same record.
Yeah.
So it feels like every game is important, and that's what makes it more interesting and more fun to watch. Mm-hmm. So the West is, you know, it's so entertaining. Popcorn out every game. The East is like, eh. But, I mean, sadly, I'm not hating. I like Ja. He's back. But the Grizzlies keep winning. They lost to the Clippers, but I don't like that they're still pretty high up. I wanted them to fall off. I was really hoping with Ja being gone for like 2 weeks, that they would start losing, and they didn't. So, that's a little annoying.
There's another question about Ja, though, because Darius.
Yeah.
He asked, "Do you think Ja matured?"
I don't.
You don't think so?
I think his PR people told him, "Hey, chill out," and that's it.
That could be a possibility. That's a possibility.
What was the first thing he said when he came back?
That's not me.
No, it's a parade and something.
That's the first thing he said. Okay. That was the first. I was talking about
not in the interview, not
the
scripted. You can see him reading like a. Come on.
He wasn't reading the script.
I mean, the real Ja in the post-game interview after he dunked it on people. That's what he said.
No, he said it when he came back as like still, when he was unsuspended but was on the bench.
Yeah. He said it before he even got in the game.
It's a parade.
I think he got more mature. I mean, look.
Did you see him gritty in the tunnel?
Yes, look, he could still be handling stuff personally. He probably is, he could have learned a couple better ways to deal with stress. But at the end of the day, I don't think 2 days in Florida was enough to completely change somebody's life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think he's still mostly Ja. He's just got to be smarter about the heat that he takes and the media attention. Like, he knows all eyes are on him.
I think he matured in the media aspect, like you said, where he knows that he's not going to be – I don't think we're going to see an Instagram Live from John for a long time.
Oh, no.
But I think he's also going to be a lot more careful of when he's on social media or what he's posting on social media. Like LeBron's social media, like back in the day when it first started, was like, pictures of like what he was doing, stuff like that. Now it's more like a, promotion. Like he still posts certain things. Like he's more on Twitter when he's like talking normal.
Yeah, well, LeBron's Instagram posts, his captions, bro.
His Instagram is like, if it's not a picture about him or like his family, it's like a promotion about one of his other businesses or something like that. Because he learned. Obviously, he knows that he's the most followed American athlete. He's the face of the NBA.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think John needs to understand that like you are a business because you're an athlete. Mm-hmm. All this stuff, like you have your own shoe line, like you have your own signature shoe with Nike. You can't be like essentially like going around.
And all this happened right after Josh's shoe came out, right?
It happened. No, his shoe came out in the All-Star break.
So yeah, I mean, not too far off.
Yeah, but his shoe came out in the All-Star break because they had like the ice thing, and they'll like slide down the ice, and it was like because he's always got jewelry.
Yeah,
he's iced out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's all it is. He just needs to learn to, you know, not essentially be the social media mogul.
Yeah.
This is how you pronounce the word?
Yeah.
You know, where you're posting everything or you're like on it, you know, trying to brag or flex.
And the thing is, that's why, like I said, he has people around him that are probably telling him that you don't be in a professional position. They have teams, you know. They have people running the. Very few are running their own social media, anyways.
Especially when you're like LaMelo, I don't run it.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, especially like when you're such a big player, you know, like we're not talking a normal like, you know, like just a normal player who, you know, is like just the role player on that team, you know.
Yeah.
Like he's the star of the Grizzlies. Like I didn't want to be mean, so he's like the he's, you know, the Grizzlies. You know, when you think about them, the first thing you think about is Ja.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you say Grizzlies.
If you say Dylan Brooks, I'm gonna smack you.
On God. If you say, you know, Grizzlies, you think Ja Morant. You know, it's like you think Lakers, you think LeBron. Like they're, you know, so it's like things like that. Like, so he has to remember that at the end of the day, he's the, you know, pinnacle of the Grizzlies right now. So he just needs to, you know, cool it off. At the end of the day, he's a young kid.
Yeah.
You know, he's a young kid with money. So there's really nothing there's nothing you can hate about it. You know, he's a young kid with a big contract. You know, some are obviously going to be different than others, but you can't be mad because he's what, 25, 24?
Something like that. He's young.
He's young. So at the end of the day, he's still got time to mature. You know, it's just the only reason people I feel like also got on him also is because he has a daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, you're being a bad. Like, no, he's a young kid. At the end of the day, he has a daughter, but he's young. He's still young. Like that's the biggest thing about it. It's like people act like he's like this. You know,
it'll come with time. Honestly,
yeah,
he'll get smarter. He's
gonna mature. He's matured definitely, like media wise, but he's gonna keep maturing because it's just human instinct. So.
If he's on the court, like everyone loves it. No one cares.
Yeah,
you know, the
everyone loves his attitude on the court because, you know, he's energetic.
Yeah,
he's not. You know, he talks trash to you, but he's not like his teammate Dylan Brooks.
But he backs it up, and they're winning.
Who's gonna talk trash and then shoot 1 of 7?
Yeah.
Or have one night where he shoots good against Russell Westbrook. Like that's not, you know, like Ja Morant he's an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're talking about a person who's actually, you know, who's like one of the best point guards in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
So that's all it is.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, staying in the West, like, so they're continuing to. They're probably gonna lock up what, the 2-3 seed.
Yeah, they're definitely locking up home court advantage. That's for sure.
What's the standing right now? Because I know, is Denver still number 1? Because they lost. I think they lost last night.
Yes.
Yeah, so Denver's number 1.
They're up by 3 games.
Okay, and then who's number 2? Grizzlies number 2. Kings number 3.
Crazy, bro. Like the mother.
But where are the Warriors at?
6.
6? They're still 6. That's good.
They'll play the Clippers,
bro. Oh, did you see it? So this is back to Darius' email because he asked.
No, they won't. They'll play the. No, yeah, they'll play the Clippers.
Yeah, Darius asked Andrew Wiggins. He said Andrew Wiggins been out for months. Do you think he's coming back? The word is his wife cheated on him.
No,
I didn't hear about that at all.
So I found out that I didn't even know Andrew Wiggins wasn't playing.
I didn't know he was married.
I don't think he's married.
He's not.
It's just like girlfriend, baby mama.
Ah.
But I looked it up because I was like, I found out this information on TikTok out of all places, right? Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, like look what's happening with Andrew Wiggins is really deep. And I was like, isn't he playing? I never clocked that. I always said, oh, DiVincenzo, because I remember saying DiVincenzo was nice. I remember telling you. I never clocked that Wiggins was not on the lineup.
No, I
wouldn't read the name Wiggins, and I'm like,
I only thought about it because was it like a couple days ago? Was it Shannon Sharp, or was it some NFL or not NFL NBA like analyst that said the Warriors aren't winning a championship?
Kendrick Perkins?
Was it Perk?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Was it Perk? Oh, I hope
Possibly.
it wasn't Perk.
No, I don't know.
It was
RJ?
somebody said. It might have been Perk, honestly.
That would not surprise me.
Somebody said they're not winning without Andrew Wiggins. I was like, that's actually a good point. So it couldn't have been Perk.
All-star for a reason.
Yeah, no. He elevated them for sure last year. So I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, and so the situation was like.
But I thought he was hurt. I didn't know if it was like off the court.
That's why I just didn't realize he wasn't playing. It never clicked in my head. And what I heard is that apparently they're saying that it was something with the kids and then him, so he stepped away.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the interviews that they ask him, and Steph Curry and Steve Kerr, they're that's our guy. We got his back. I think one reporter said that they're they'll constantly. I think I read it in an article that they're constantly checking up on him, make sure he's good, stuff like that. Just being good friends, good teammates, good brothers, and it was something like that. Then it was like his girlfriend had like went on Twitter and said that like the media, you know, like everyone believes what is told to them, like they don't know the real side of things. And I was like, well then, what is the real side? And then I kind of like stopped following it because it's not covered as well. It's also not covered because it's private, and it's a good thing it's not covered. Because if it was covered, I feel like it would just drive him crazy.
Yeah,
it would make him crazy. So, I mean, I hope it's not like anything bad like that. Obviously, I hope he can figure it out and get back to playing basketball because he was just a quiet, likable guy. You know, just went out there, will give you team 20 no matter what. Quiet 20. You would just look at the stat line and you'll just see Wiggins 20 and you're like, oh, wow, you dropped 20. And it's like efficient. It's like, you know, 6 of like 14 or like 6 for 12. And it's like, what? And then we're like, you know, 4 free throws. And it's like, what? Like, how? And then he's just like so quiet. So I hope it's nothing like too bad like that. But
the Warriors were looking pretty iffy for a while, especially on the road. But now they're
iffy.
Now they're
9-29.
They're iffy now, but they've been winning a couple. You know, they're like what 40-37 or something like that.
Yeah, that actually.
Really? Yeah. And
but
then
the thing is, they need to get to like 4 to have home court advantage because like that's what Shaq said. Shaq said that like if they get to home court advantage, they're just gonna win the finals. Because then Charles was like, "Oh, you gotta go on the road." He's like, "Yeah, but you play more at home."
Yeah.
He's like, "So,
the thing
you play
is,
4
like,
at home, so you'll probably win."
They I don't know. I want them to start losing because I want LA to get bumped up to 6, bro. But the thing, like the Warriors, did you see that video of when Klay hit that deep 3, like a couple seconds left in the shot clock in the fourth quarter to put it away against the Pelicans? No. And it showed. Oh man, I should have sent it to you, but there was a camera angle, or not the camera angle, but they kept showing the camera on the Pelicans bench after Klay hit that 3. It was one of those wild threes. Even Steve Kerr couldn't believe that he hit it. Like, you know,
even probably Klay
in Splash Bro fashion.
Because it wasn't Curry.
I mean, yeah, but still, Klay Thompson can still.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like shot clock was going down late in the fourth quarter. I think they were up like 2 or 3 already. Like, this was the dagger. And it was a dagger of all daggers. Like, after he hit it, you could see on the bench of the Pelicans, bro, it was so funny. They all were just like, they were looking at each other. And then you can see, like, Zion, you know, that face of just true, like, disheartenment, you know, when you're just, is that a word? I don't know. And you're just like, you know, it's over. Some of the guys are just like, dang.
Yeah.
How did he hit that?
Yeah, it's just like
I kept seeing that, and I thought
like
it was
the
hilarious.
knife was already in there, but then they just
start twisting it.
Yeah.
And they all just, like, straight disbelief.
But obviously you want LA because, you know, I do know that to you, LeBron's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Anyways. Speaking of LA, they played the Bulls twice, went 1-1, even though they should have won that first game. I don't know what happened.
Both games, bro. The Bulls.
Pat Bev he's so funny, but he's so irritating. The nerve to do too small on LeBron. Bro, you just played with him, and then too small on LeBron.
Austin Reeves did it back though.
Austin Reeves got him back. That was funny.
And then LeBron, you know how people were saying that he was a Kobe fan?
Yeah.
And then LeBron was like, I know he likes Kobe, but he's my teammate.
I forgive him. He got my back.
I forgive him. That was so cool. Funny.
And Anthony Davis, why is he so inconsistent?
I don't know.
He went for like.
It's like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. He went for like 30 and then like 15 and then like 38.
Jimmy Butler played like 3 games ago for the Heat. Dropped like 30-something. They won the game. Didn't play against the Knicks, but then plays against the Raptors yesterday or the night before. 12 points. 6 of 12 shooting. Like why? You're the number one guy. Why'd you stop shooting?
Their last game against the Bulls, yeah, he had to have more than 12 shots.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Their last game against the Bulls, like 3. I think LeBron had like 25. D'Lo had like 20-something. You know, Austin Reeves had like almost. I think he had like almost 20.
Something like that.
Anthony Davis had almost 40.
Oh yeah.
So when they're scoring like that and the ball's still being distributed, obviously they win, and they win by a good amount, and they can beat most people, if not anyone.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that everyone needs to show up every night. Austin Reeves is showing up every night. LeBron just got back. When D'Lo's on the court, they definitely play a lot better because he's facilitating and he can score. Mm-hmm. The key is the main guy. You can't when it comes to the playoffs, every night you got to go for that 30. You can't just.
But I mean, to some people, you know, LeBron is still the main guy. I mean, I feel like
LeBron doesn't even want to be the main guy.
I know, but at the end of the day, LeBron is always going to be the main guy because
he's the main guy, but the one you want to have to pay attention to and worry about is Anthony Davis. And when you look at the impact when AD plays well, they win.
Yeah, no.
Remember early in like January before the All-Star weekend.
Streak.
LeBron, I mean Anthony Davis, that was more so December. He had that streak and they were winning. LeBron would drop he would have to drop 40, almost 50 points in order for them to win. When he was dropping 30, they were still losing.
Oh yeah, I do remember.
When AD was out, so it's
when AD was out, yeah.
I mean, you can see the impact right there. But I mean, you want to talk about GOATs? I know this. Just we can get into another email. Let's stay on this briefly because I know we want to get into MLB stuff. But coming from Joseph, my little bro, shout out. The debate between LeBron and Jordan is no longer a debate. It's about personal opinion. True. Anyways, LeBron has accomplished enough to end the debate, but that doesn't matter to Jordan fans. He could win 2 more rings, and they would still make an excuse to why Jordan is better. Facts.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
Numbers don't
Obviously, lie. I remember the reason this podcast came to fruition
is this exact debate.
I love that word.
It's a good word. It's a good word.
Shout out LeVar Ball. That's where I first actually heard.
That's where you heard fruition from.
Because he said, yeah, I swear I never heard that word before. No. I probably did, but just never clocked it. And it was LeVar talking about getting his sons to the NBA.
He probably said fruition.
He was like, that's how he said it. And I was like, what does that word mean? Looked it up. It was in a
revolutionary.
They were at a diner right before Alonso got drafted with New York. Actually, I swear to God. And obviously where is
LeVar?
Still doing LeVar things.
Okay.
My thought process was I was gonna have a show starting this year with a kid. He transferred schools. I don't even know how I started. It's just I said something about sports. You came back at it.
Because I had talked to Trice about this already, and then I came and talked to you, and you were like, I had already talked to Trice about this too, and we were like, all right, let's just
and then going. But it was just one day we just were in the studio, the TV studio, while everyone was in the control room, and we just started talking about Kyrie, and then it turned into LeBron and Jordan, and it was a 20-minute conversation. It was just me and you in the studio by ourselves talking about who the GOAT is. Because
I had to get a read on you and ask. I was trying to figure out whether or not you were the delusional Jordan fan or you were a reasonable.
I mean, people say that, but people remember. I thought LeBron was this God when he was on the Heat. Obviously, everyone people forget that.
2013, LeBron is one of the scariest people we've ever seen.
I watched this man play live. I would go to the stadium to go watch my favorite team play, and he was on that team. I still remember him. I hate to say it, but him missing the 3 to kick out to Allen. I remember when he absolutely destroyed Jason Terry's career. I remember that. I remember the infamous bounce pass from Dwayne Wade, which I thought was an alley-oop for my entire life. The infamous bounce pass in Milwaukee. I remember him wearing the same jersey that I pay money to wear, because I like the Heat. My thought process has always been, it's the same thing. Kobe obviously damn near perfected Jordan's mannerisms, it was scary. And LeBron obviously is a lefty but shoots righty because of Jordan. I think that the reason I've always put them before, and I don't know if I told you this, I think I did when we had this discussion, it was Jordan set the blueprint and these two players have just followed it. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of why I've always said it. I was because he had someone to look at and kind of be better than. Well, it was different at the time because Dr. J was good. And
Jordan's inspiration was Will. I forgot, it was some random guy who was in college, and he's the reason he went to UNC.
Yeah, I know, but it was you know what I'm saying? Jordan was already this, this god. He was Black Jesus to some people.
Yeah,
and then Kobe saw it, and then LeBron saw it, and we're oh yeah, we want to be this person. And the reason I've always put them interchangeable. People always think when they come to me, I'm they're oh, who's better? I say Jordan. They're oh, you hate LeBron. I'm no, I don't.
See, that's the whole problem.
I'm no, I don't.
Is in this day and age, if you say one, you got to discredit the other. Yeah, and that's what the media does, and that's the issue.
That's what Skip Bayless does.
Did you see what Shaq said? He said, because I had a couple issues with this. He was who was the closest thing to
about
Jordan?
Kobe, yeah, I know you're
Kobe, but the closest thing play style doesn't necessarily mean the closest in how greatness. You know what I mean? Yeah, Kobe played the most like Jordan. Doesn't mean he was.
Kobe played identical to Jordan.
Yeah,
there's no way.
But
every move he did, the tongue out that Kobe used to do.
LeBron's just a different play style. That doesn't mean he can't be as good as the two just because he didn't play exactly like the two. You know what I mean? You can be great in a different way. And I just think having the all-time scoring record has got to mean something. People still act like it really doesn't mean as much in the conversation.
It means a lot.
But it's got to mean something.
But then I'm gonna, obviously I don't want to be this guy, but I don't want to be the mean guy. But you know, if you go based off like scoring record, why have we never considered Kareem one of the greatest players?
Some people do.
Some people do.
I've seen conversations. Some people
but
do.
I'm saying like it's always been Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. But it's like the guy who scored the most points, obviously not is second now.
Mm-hmm.
Why was he never in the conversation? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what like I'm saying. That's what Jordan fans say.
I have.
Kareem has.
So my response to like Jordan fans, because they talk about, I think there should be criteria. It's like accolades. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And every single one of them has every single accolade, whether it's a ring, whether it's an MVP, whether it's some sort of record that is required to be in that conversation. Mm-hmm. So all of them check those boxes. And then after that, we get into, but how many? How many do you have here? How many do you have here? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like LeBron he's surpassed Jordan and Kobe in every single aspect of like numbers wise. And literally the only thing I have is rings. But regardless, it's like.
Does he have more MVPs than Jordan? I don't think so.
Does
Jordan have 5?
I think he has like 5.
He has 5.
Yeah.
LeBron has 3.
LeBron could have more easily.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just saying.
Voter fatigue.
I'm just saying. Like.
But like stats wise, Yeah. Not. Yeah. But it's like if he has everything that is needed to be in that conversation, it's just like kind of ridiculous that you can't. But he doesn't have enough. You know what I mean? Because some people don't get anything, and he's like has like more than almost everybody else. I
discredit people. I discredit people that have him as like not even in like they have him as like 4 or 5 all the time.
Yeah,
I discredit people.
Look, it's interchangeable. You say everyone. I definitely won't be mad if you say Kobe. You won't be mad if you say Jordan. I have my opinion, but I think the comparison needs to be more logic based as opposed to just feeling. You know, people just get into it's really just old heads like that are still caught up in, you know, how back in the day used to be, and they don't want to appreciate basketball for what it is now, and that's what kind of bugs me. Also, it's like, oh man, I saw a video. No, sorry, different topic. He called himself Black Jesus, right?
His problem. I feel like
Kobe called himself. Black Mama. Like. LeBron calls himself the king, but people say, Jordan would never crown himself the GOAT because when he said, after having the all-time scoring record, he said, I believe I'm the greatest to ever play, which is totally reasonable if you break the unbreakable record. You know what I mean? Regardless of the debate. But after he said that, I went on Twitter. People are just like, Jordan would never say wouldn't have to say he's the greatest because everyone else would say it for him. And I'm like, he called himself Black Jesus, bro.
I feel like with that argument that people say is like, people are always like, you know, like LeBron always called himself the king coming into the league. Jordan earned the title. And I was like, say what you want to say. If you're just gonna say LeBron is not good, then you're just stupid. Like it's just plain ignorance.
But every single great calls themselves something because you got to be in that. In order to be great, you got to be in that.
Everyone agrees Shaq is the most dominant player of all time.
Diesel, yeah.
Shaq says he's the most dominant player of all time.
Yes.
Shaq gets mad if you don't say he's the most dominant player of all time.
And no one hits on him for it because they understand. But so for
the greatest rebounder, arguably of all time, there's two. There's 2 greatest rebounders in my opinion. There's Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
And there's Charles Barkley. Because one of them was called the round mound of rebound.
Yes.
Literally, that is his nickname. That's literally the nickname. And everyone knows that this crackhead just knew that when he started breaking down that he would see how the ball would shot and it would spin. That's just weird.
That's insane.
But I doubt that. But go ahead, go off, Queen.
Yeah.
Right.
Queen.
He married himself.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're always good at something. So, you know, the king of hooks was Kareem. It was the sky hook.
Just think that whole argument of calling yourself the greatest, everyone has to, even if you're not, everyone, when they step on that court, even a mid-NBA player can say, I believe I'm the best guy on the court, because you got to act that way in order to play that way.
Everyone knows. Tom Brady has said it himself.
Yes.
Tom Brady has said himself. King Griffey Jr. said he's had the sweetest swing in baseball.
So
it's a fact.
You're feeling yourself. Like you're not going to discredit yourself, especially if you're one of the best ones. So that whole argument of like, I can't say it because you just can't say you're the GOAT even though you feel like it?
Yeah.
And because people are supposed to say it for you? No. Who's going to stand up for you? Especially when you're on the come up. You got to stand up for yourself. Yeah. So I just thought that was ridiculous. Say what you want. Like, I have who I think. Everyone else has who they think. Honestly, there's a list of 4 or 5 people that should always be on there. And if they're not, then it's a problem. Yeah. But other than that, that's why I say the comparison is so annoying.
I say to me, 1 and 2 are interchangeable because it also depends on like certain things. Like LeBron is better than Jordan at certain things, and I feel like Jordan's better at LeBron at certain things.
They're just such different players.
Yeah. that just
an era does come into
that
it.
just happen to be good at the same sport.
Yeah, difficulty and era does come into it, but at the same time, it's about dominance in your era. So it's like, let's just appreciate both.
The greatest player in the 2010s was LeBron. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and 2000s was Kobe. 90s was Jordan. You know, like it shifts every time. Mm-hmm. And I think the 20s might be like Giannis or Embiid for sure. Yeah. So it's in 20 years we're gonna be having an argument about Giannis or Luka or Embiid or you know what I mean?
100%. That's what I'm saying. Like,
so it's just the generational thing. Like we didn't grow up. I mean, I don't know how much if you watched Jordan growing up. We didn't grow up watching Jordan.
No.
We didn't grow up watching the 90s Bulls.
I'm not that much older than you.
Yeah. Like, wait, we're the same age.
I'm not that much older.
Some people like my dad never like showed it. Some people would have showed their parents would have showed them. My dad didn't do that, so I wasn't sure how you were. Anyways, it's just one of those things, you know. Like we grew up watching mainly LeBron and Kobe, so that's who we're gonna be paying more attention to. Kids are gonna grow up watching Steph Curry and like all the new guys.
Big impact on basketball.
Absolutely,
everyone wants to shoot threes. So
it's just one of those things.
It's all personal opinion, and you know, I just think
we should appreciate all greatness. You know,
an opinion is never a fact. So
our issue is discrediting one in the sake of crediting another when it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
And there is a more recent movement in appreciating everyone, which is that's just how I feel about the whole situation.
But you know what I can appreciate though,
is
that baseball's finally back.
It's in. Wait, hold on. It's in full swing.
Good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I felt good about that one. Thank you.
Definitely not the name of the Netflix documentary for golf, but.
I completely forgot. Both of them swing.
Yeah,
both of them swing.
That's why I just thought it was funny to mess with you. But yeah, no, baseball's
crazy.
back.
I really thought I did something there too.
No, you did. You did not. Baseball's back. There was I think 12 games or something like that yesterday. I think there was 12 games yesterday. Obviously, as you can tell, you can because I'm currently wearing my Marlins jersey. I watched the Marlins game yesterday.
This is
they lost.
Hopefully, the first baseball season I'm going to be actually trying to pay attention.
Let's go. Yes, sir.
You see the guy? Who was it that last season he sung the national anthem? Did you see that?
Oh, today? You mean like yesterday?
Yesterday.
Oh yeah, and Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, Adam Wainwright. How old is he? They said it was his final season, right?
Yeah, it's his final season. 40 something, maybe 39.
It's crazy how long you can play in baseball.
I saw this guy win the World Series like in 2013. He's 41. He's 41. Nah, man, he's one of the GOATs. Played his whole career, I think, in St. Louis. One of the most liked players. They said, how can you be more patriotic than him? Because he was on Team USA that just lost the World Baseball Classic, then sings the national anthem opening day. They're like, how can you be more patriotic than this man?
Yeah, no, that was cool. That was really cool to see because I don't think his teammates knew. So when they announced him, some of the guys next to him were like, they were like, "No way, you know."
Yeah, I don't think no one knew, but baseball took off. New faces and new places. The Yankees and the Cardinals had their top prospects make their opening day roster and start. So that was kind of cool. Obviously, the Marlins lost, but I saw improvements. Obviously, we have the best pitcher in baseball. I don't care what anyone says. In Sandy Alcantara, but he had a bad game. But he didn't do good last year in opening day either, and won the Cy Young unanimously. But he like never does good on opening day. He's like, I feel like he's just nervous that it's like the first game of the season, and he got into a lot of walks. And actually, I have Eric, who was our guest last week in class, and he's wearing his med shirt, so he laughed, and I was like, wow, why'd you do that to me? But he's like, what was up with Sandy? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, he walked 5 people. I was like, I don't know why. He goes, I think he walked like 4 all of last year. Like, Sandy's not a guy who walks people, but it's just like, I feel like he just gets opening day jitters. I don't know why. Like, he's just like nervous, even though he knows he's like, you know, a dog. But
so I'm gonna need you to teach me about the different divisions of baseball.
It's kind of like basketball.
It sounds like him, but like
there's the National League, American League, Eastern, Western.
Yeah.
And then you know how there's like the Southwest, the Southeast division, where like the Heat.
So what do they call it? Is it like ML West, ML East?
National League East.
Oh, NL.
National League East. It's more like football.
Okay.
National League East, Central, and Western, and then American League Eastern, Central, and Western. And there's 15 teams, so 5 in each, because there's 30 teams in baseball, so it's 5. Which is why football has 4, because it's 32. So it's just even. It used to be 16 and 14, because the Houston Astros used to be a National League team, And
that just seems kind of annoying.
Yeah, it was like, so then they just
like an uneven.
They were like, just go to American League, and they just moved them to the Western, because the Western in NL the NL West had 6 teams and the AL West had 4. So they just took that one extra team from there because they're in the Western anyway. So they just moved them to the other league. So now there's even split 5 and 5. 5-5-5, 5-5-5.
Is the Cy Young, is that like the MVP kind of?
That's the pitcher's MVP. So there's different. You know, there's MVP in baseball and basketball and baseball and in football. This is the best way I can describe it to you, right? Mm-hmm. Which is usually quarterbacks. MVPs is very hard for a pitcher to win MVP because there's like, unless you're like Ohtani, who does 2 things, which is he's an anomaly. But there's like, you know.
Has he won one?
Yeah, he has. There's Aaron Judge and stuff like that. But they're like, you can't give it to Ohtani because he does something no one else does. So it's unfair. Like LeBron winning like 3 MVPs and not MVP from like 2008 to like 2017 because he was like literally
he was MVP every season.
Right? There's something like that because he does certain things people can't do. So there's like, you know, like Aaron Judge. But then like, you know how they have offensive player of the year in football? That's a Cy Young for pitchers.
Okay.
Something that, you know, like it's very hard for a receiver or running back to win MVP. So they went off. Yeah, it's very hard for a pitcher to win MVP. So they have a Cy Young.
So they have a Cy Young, yeah.
Which just denotes them.
Who is Cy Young? Is
he
like one of the greatest?
He was just a pitcher that just was good. That was literally his name.
He wasn't like the great he's early pitcher.
Yeah, like in 1904 or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Like a long time ago. It's like, you know, but then, you know, you have like the awards are named after players. So there's the Hank Aaron Award, which is like the best, like
I've heard
hitter,
that one,
which is like the best, like slugger, I guess is like
the historical stat lines for baseball are ridiculous. I saw one yesterday, and it was like something since 1900, and I was like, bro, they're really tracking stats.
So Ali Rutschman, the catcher for the Orioles, went 5 for 5.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Or 6 for 6.
Because I was like, oh yeah, the Orioles are doing something good.
5 for 5 or 6 for 6, something like that. And he was the first time a catcher got on base safely 5 times on opening day since he was the 4th catcher since 1901 to do that, or the 3rd catcher since 1901.
Imagine you're the guy.
Baseball started in 1886.
Yeah, imagine you're the guy that has to go back and look at those stats.
That's why it's considered America's pastime, because it's from 1886. It's the oldest sport. Yeah. No, it is still considered America's pastime.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not like being like, you know, defending baseball, but people agree that America's sport is football. That's what it is. People agree that the sport that you know America for is football.
Because other people play baseball.
It's football.
But other people don't play American football.
Yeah. But, you know, at the end of the day, when you consider what was like, you know, the sport here, it was baseball. That's why people say it. But, yeah, I mean, I'm just happy it's back, finally. The new rules were in play. Yeah,
there was the first pitch clock violation.
Was there?
Yeah.
I actually didn't see. Oh,
you didn't see that? I forgot his name. I don't remember what team he was for.
I think I did see it. Now that I think about it,
so,
it was
somebody brought up a great point. I think this would be. I don't know how infuriating this would be or kind of cool. I think it'd be funny. But they were like, buzzer beater pitch clock violations to win a game is definitely gonna happen.
It happened in spring training.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, that's gonna be? Imagine it's like a huge game. A pitcher just has to throw, doesn't get the throw off, like strike, game over.
You sent me something on Instagram saying
that would be crazy.
You sent me something on Instagram showing that, you know, they played a whole half inning in between like one pitch.
Yeah.
Right. So the reason I said I'll save the rest for tomorrow is because Scherzer, who pitched against the Marlins, he actually got hit pretty well. So I'm not too mad that he didn't win the game. He didn't get the win because it was tied when they took him out. He's very known to be, you know, psychological. He used to. They
said he was one of the slowest pitchers.
He is, but the reason he is like back in the day before the pitch clock, right? That's like last year essentially. If you were someone who took long to get in the box, he would pitch quick. Because at the end of the day, the ball, you can't hit the ball unless the pitcher throws the ball. So the game depends on the pitcher. So if you were slow, he'd be quick, and if you were quick, he'd be slow because it throws you off. So you're sitting there, right? You're sitting there waiting, and you get to a point where you call time. I don't know what I'm actually doing. I have to do it.
No, it's okay.
You know,
muscle memory.
Yeah, you call time, right? You step out, but then you get back in, and if he doesn't move, like he just stays ready. Soon as the umpire says play, he could pitch. So then you're still getting ready, you know, trying to think he's gonna take long, and then you pitch, and then he throws it down the middle. You don't have time to swing. That's a strike. And then he starts playing mind games with you. You know, that's what pitchers can't play mind games anymore because batters only have one timeout. So yesterday they mentioned it. The Paul Severino, the play-by-play for the Marlins. Garrett Cooper calls timeout on Max Scherzer because he was taking too long. So Garrett Cooper, you have to be back in play. Batter has to be ready within 7 seconds. He was ready before that because there's time, so then the clock starts when he's ready. Scherzer just waited because he can't call time now. So he burned the clock until like 2 seconds to start pitching. So Cooper had to sit there for 15 seconds waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, not being able to call time. And Scherzer's just looking at the clock, seeing when am I going to pitch, knowing he can't call time again. So there's a little bit of more mind games being played, but you can't play mind games anymore as well. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I don't know if it was said on the podcast, I said there was this one team that I picked off to first.
Yeah.
And they called it a balk, even though I did a legal move, so I kept doing it and doing it and doing it. You can't do that now. You only get 2. Mm-hmm. And then if you could do it a third time, but if you don't get him out, if you don't get the runner out the third time, it's a balk, so it's like a balk, so he gets free base. Mm-hmm. So you can only really throw twice throughout the inning. And it's like, you can't play mind games as a pitcher. You try and throw timing off. You try and throw the first base runner off. Because let's say they're taking a big lead, you keep picking him off, you think he's going to steal. You keep picking off, then he takes a shorter lead. Then there's a higher chance you get a double play because he's not as far off as first. He's a little bit closer. So now there's more chance they have time. It's all mind games.
Yeah, from that aspect, I can understand. Yeah. But as someone who just didn't know what was going on in that clip, I know if I was just watching that on TV or just sitting in the game, I would be like, okay, what the heck is happening?
Yeah, no, that's all it is. It's just like,
I was just sitting there just like, bro, throw the ball.
It's a mental game. You try and mess with them because it's like Johnny Cueto does this a lot, and it's another Marlin. But he does shimmies. He shimmies a lot. So, like, he'll do his wind-up. He steps off. He brings his leg up. And sometimes he'll just, like, sit there and then pitch. Sometimes he'll bring his leg up, shake his little shoulders, look back, turn around a little bit. Nestor Cortez from the Yankees does it, too. Because Nestor Cortez, shout out Nestor. He's putting on for Hialeah. He says that I'm not the hardest thrower, so I have to beat you, I have to be better than you some way. So Nestor likes to dance a little bit while he's like with his leg up and then pitches, and you gotta wait. And then sometimes he'll quick pitch so you don't have time to react, and then he'll quick pitch again so you think, okay, he's gonna quick pitch me, and then he'll start dancing again with his leg and bring it up and then throw, and then you gotta wait, and you're a little, you're like desperate to hit, and now you're like trying to wait, and it throws your timing off. So it's like pitchers can't beat you psychologically, and that's just how you would get into players' heads. Like as a pitcher, especially the hitters.
Yeah. I guess I can see why, because they're trying to bring people back into the game. Not necessarily because not everyone's analytical about it. Not everyone has played or is like diehard. It's more so the casual people that bring in more of the casual money.
Baseball's like church. Many attend, few understand. That is a quote that literally.
I've heard that before.
It literally defines the sport. There's just like no way around it because there's too many little things in baseball.
Yeah.
There's too many little things like.
I'm trying to learn, but there's a lot. It's a lot.
Now you can't shift, right?
Yeah.
But the Red Sox actually found a way around it. They were playing the Twins, and Joey Gallo is notorious for not being able to hit the ball to the left side of second base. He's a lefty.
Yeah.
He's notorious for hitting it to the second baseman and first baseman or over them. He's like notorious, like center field, right field, never to the left. You can't shift. So there's like a little gray area where like their second base, the shortstop can be like right here. Like they could be right to just an inch to the right of it, and they're fine as long as they're like not on the other side of second base. So then the third baseman was shifted a lot. But then they put the left fielder where the second baseman would naturally be in a shift, or the third baseman, whoever you put out there in the grass. They put the left fielder. So they only had 2 outfielders, and that's a legal shift because they have 4 infielders all on the dirt like they're supposed to. Yet they put the left fielder in right field, like right in front of right field, where if he hits a ground ball there or a line drive, it's not going to be a hit, it's going to be an out, which is a legal shift move. So there's a lot of gray area, like, and then Max Scherzer was like, in basketball the clock hits 0, but there's 0.9, 0.8.
Yeah.
Can I do that? Can I pitch on 0 knowing there's still 0.8 seconds left? He's like, there's a little gray area. So people are still teams and players are trying to figure out like the
There's going to be new technicalities and new nuances and ways around the rules that they put in. So it's still gonna be like mental stuff, just different mental stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Were there any like surprising winners and losers yesterday?
Yes. I'm surprised the Angels lost to the Oakland Athletics out of all teams. Right? No offense, but Oakland
I completely forgot that was a team.
Oakland A's suck. Right? Like there's just no way
the
around
Athletics?
it. Yeah,
that's their name.
Yeah. So they just go by the A's. They suck.
Oh, see, I've heard the A's. I didn't know A meant Athletics.
Yeah. Oakland A's. They are just bad. They beat Ohtani and the Angels. First of all, Mike Trout went 0 for 3, which is absurd because we're talking arguably one of the greatest players of all time.
I think he was number 1 on whatever list that just put out.
He's number 1 every year. He should be number 1. There's no one should be number 1 over him. Hunter Renfroe made one of the greatest plays I've seen.
I got so confused because I was like, Hunter Renfroe is a wide receiver for,
actually, they
for
call
Vegas.
They call Hunter Renfroe him Mike Trout 2.0 because he looks just like
that catch was insane,
uncannily similar to Mike Trout. It's crazy, like they look identical.
He looked at it and then purposely looked it off.
Because at that point he just threw his glove thinking he wasn't gonna catch it, so he's running backwards.
I thought he was so confident that he was like, I got it.
No, he's facing right, so you think it's behind me. I'm not catching it. I'm gonna play it off the wall, but screw it. Glove. And sometimes there's sometimes I can't say nothing, but I've been a factor to it. There's just a magnet sometimes. You're just like, screw it, throw the glove back, and you're like, oh my god, you act cool. You always act natural. Like, yeah,
he looked like he meant to do that.
You always act like you meant to do it. Always act like you meant to be there. Never act unnatural. So, a great play, honestly. I've seen that a couple times. I've seen those plays a couple times. Like, that's been done before. The best ones are when they're fully just full back and the ball's over their head and they still catch it, like Tim Salmon.
Yeah, that was the first home run robbery of the season.
There was the first home run robbery yesterday. Bubba Thompson. The dude robbed like 8 home runs last year. It was crazy. Like, I don't know. He just knows how to rob home runs. But also, the Phillies lost. That's another surprising team I didn't think would lose. Obviously, they don't have their best player, and they actually don't have 2 players because Bryce Harper's still out with his Tommy John surgery from last year, and Rhys Hoskins tore his ACL in spring training, their first baseman. So they had to have another first baseman that they had there last year when Rhys Hoskins was hurt, and they were up like 7-2, like big,
and they lost.
They lost 11-7. Yeah, to the Rangers out of all teams, who Bubba Thompson robbed a home run. But Jacob deGrom was absolutely getting destroyed on the mound. And we're talking one of the greatest pitchers of all time, too.
I've heard of him.
Jacob deGrom, in the Mets was disgusting. He was just always hurt. So when he wasn't hurt, you were like, I don't want to play against this dude because he's too good. And he was just getting hit. Bam, 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 triple, double, home run. I was like, yo, they're like, he's not good no more. And then the Phillies just gonna Philly and they blow the game like they normally do.
Did the Orioles win yesterday? Probably not.
The Orioles did win 10-9.
They won
against the Red Sox. Yeah, but the Red Sox. I think the Orioles are gonna be good in their division. Obviously, the Yankees are gonna be number 1, but I could see the Orioles honestly being like 2 or 3.
Who's better, them or the Nationals right now?
Oh, the Orioles.
Really? The Nationals are that bad?
But the Orioles had an up season last year, and Adley Rutschman is now like he's got his feet wet in the MLB last year. Now he's confident. They got Adam Frazier, who I've always been a big fan of at second base. They have Gunnar Henderson. Like, they have good players. Cedric Mullins played for Team USA. He's an all-star. Like, they're good.
I just never hear anything about him. So.
It's because they were bad for so many years. And they still have one of the worst contracts of all time. Chris Davis.
What's the contract?
They signed him, like, to $100-something million contract for, like, 8 years. And after he signed it, he just forgot to hit a baseball. And I think they're still paying him.
How many years into it?
I think this is like the second to last year, something like that, but he doesn't play no more. He like retired in like 2017, something like that.
And they still have to pay him.
Yeah. Well, the Mets pay Bobby Bonilla $1 million every July 1st. They call it Bobby Bonilla Day.
That's funny.
Yeah, because they deferred his contract till 2030.
Who else is
Pudge Rodriguez from the Marlins? He's still getting paid by the Marlins. I think this
because there was another one that got deferred. He's like the top 4 highest paid player on whatever team.
I think last year was the last year that he got paid. Yeah, I think it's the Marlins, but I think last year was the last year, or this is the last year, something like that. But we had him when we won in 2003, and he deferred his contract. No,
but there was somebody else, too, that was retired. That's literally been retired since, like, 2013, but still getting paid.
I don't know. I just know those two. I don't
remember his name.
It's kind of funny.
There's
but
a lot of names.
Baseball's back. More games today. There's less games. Because opening day is always on a Thursday. But then you'll play the same team, obviously, 3 games. You play a series. But a lot of teams only play like 3, so they'll play Saturday and Sunday. But some teams are playing 4 off rip. So there's only like 4 games today.
So what changes in those games? Like you play them one night, then you play them like not the next night, but the night after, or the next night, right?
Usually you play back to back to back all 3 games.
Is there a lot of strategy changing, or is it just go out and just play?
It just depends on the pitcher. It depends on the pitcher, and then that's it. Usually the teams go with the same lineup most of the time, because most of the time it's going to be the same players, because you're everyday players. Occasionally they'll get the day off. Mainly catchers get the day off because that's screws your knees more.
Yeah, dude, I don't know how catchers do that.
I can't even do it. I don't know. But they tend to. That's the only players that really change most often. And then sometimes you'll now there's the universal designated hitter. Sometimes you'll put that designated hitter to play in a certain position that is their position, and you'll take that player off and put him as DH so you can keep the same lineup.
Mm-hmm. But
it also depends on who's pitching. You change certain players, but your main guys usually stay every day, so they'll play 150 games, sometimes play 162 games. It's rare now, but because you always want to give them a day off because you never want them to, be destroyed by the end of the season. But it's the only sport that you really sit down mid-game while you're still playing, while you're still part of the game.
Eat a hot dog, relax.
That was back in the day. Babe Ruth ate 13 hot dogs.
Yeah, I know.
But that's still crazy to me. Then now you just, they're all like, they'll watch some film really quick because they have dudes with iPads or little massage gun, water, Powerade or Gatorade, whatever.
Yeah.
Prime, you never know nowadays.
Honestly, they could. Honestly, Prime could tap into one of those big sports markets.
They're in the UFC.
Yeah.
They're the UFC.
Oh, in upcoming, before we get off of here, March Madness Final Four.
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So who's playing first? Oh, both of them playing tomorrow. But who do you got? I know we both said we wanted to see a South Florida final.
Yeah, so it's San Diego State FAU at 6-something, like 6:08.
I know who you want to win, but who do you think is gonna win?
San Diego State.
I think they're gonna win too. But I want FAU. I would love to see.
I would want FAU
go to the final.
If UM wasn't there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like neighbors asked me, he was like, "Are you?" I was like, "I'm rooting for UM. Like my house key is UM, but like if they weren't there, I would want the South Florida.
So you want an either or kind of situation? You don't want them both?
No, I want UM to win, but I don't want I don't have anything for FAU. It's just that they're from South Florida, and that's just the area. But they're not even like the same area code. They're 954, not 305. So it's like they're far. Like FAU's not close.
But that would be like a rivalry, though.
Yeah,
kinda,
it would.
Right?
Low
like
key, it's a South Florida thing.
305?
It's just a South Florida thing. Like Miami hates Broward. We don't hate each other.
Because they were saying
we say we're better than Broward. Broward says they're better than us. That's all it is.
They were saying the basketball, college basketball is shifting down to Florida at this point.
UM's got notoriety now because they've made it back-to-back Elite Eights. FAU has the lowest budget in any Division I basketball school with $2.7 million, and they're in the Final Four. So
the gap between skill and between like 1 seed and 16 seed is just so thin at this point.
Yeah, it's a 9 seed and a 5 seed.
Yeah, crazy.
That are from South Florida. They're in there. UM plays UConn, who's a 4v5 matchup, so it's not even a bad matchup.
I'm going to be honest. I want UM to win, but I think UConn's going to take it.
Oh, so do I.
I think UConn's going to take it all. They're just so good.
UConn's too good to, count out, but at this point.
They know how to score the basketball so well.
UM beat, the number, what was it, the number 1 team?
Yeah. Something like that.
No, not the number 1 team. I'm thinking about the girls. They beat Indiana, who has arguably they have the player of the year. And then they beat Texas, who was argued to go Final Four. So there's a chance there, but that's going to be a good game because they're hot. People are underdogs. They like being underdogs. UConn is just UConn. They're too good. And then, San Diego State and FAU have both beat the odds. Mm-hmm. They're there. So it's just, there's some dogs in there. It's going to be fun. This is fun. No blue bloods.
Predictions at this point are pointless.
No blue bloods.
Yeah.
I could just still have the right winner in one of my brackets, which was UM. So
I stopped looking at my brackets long ago.
No, I only made 2. The one that's busted because Baylor lost, but I have the UM bracket. So even though I have it all wrong, I still have UM in the final, and I have them winning it. So I still have the winner. But that's gonna happen. But Final Four tomorrow, championship on Monday.
Such a random day for a champion. I know it's always on Monday, but like on Monday?
Yeah. Making the kids skip class. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What schools are they? What is that? They don't prioritize education. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, for
I'm
real.
just
like,
kidding.
They need to. Don't go to class. Go to the game. I mean, it's at nighttime anyways.
Yeah, it is, but they're already there because it's in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no team is home, so. Yeah.
Unless you're traveling with them, then I guess.
Yeah.
You have no choice.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, do I have... Oh, I have a bracket with the Huskies winning. I didn't even realize I made
so
one.
you
Yeah,
possibly
so I'm
still have a
still...
winner, too.
And I picked UConn winning it, so maybe, you know. This is when I should have entered into the IM sports brackets thing here at FSC. Oh, man. That's bad. Yeah, the person that's winning it in that group is someone with UConn winning. Everyone else, no.
Can't believe no one put you into it. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I didn't even think either, so I don't worry. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it just to say it, but no one thought that was gonna happen. I mean, that's the beauty of March Madness. It's crazy, but
it doesn't just have to be March Madness predictions. I'm gonna say right now, hopefully, but by next week, next episode, Rodgers will be a Jet. That's what I'm looking for. It's been too long.
I'm hoping the Marlins have above 500 record by next Friday. So
how many games are they gonna play between now and next Friday?
They play today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think they play 4 against the Mets, and I think they play.
Does it matter that much this early on? We have so much of the season left to go. I'm about to say
they play 4 against Minnesota. I think 4 or 3.
When does it really start to like? Is it midway through the season when it really starts to count? Because I feel like the first 20 games would be like
post All-Star game.
Yeah,
is when you start seeing who's actually going to contend.
When is the All-Star game for baseball?
July 11th.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, the Marlins play. They play today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
So between that and traveling and all that, or they play at home?
They play at home until Wednesday. And then Thursday they play the Mets in New York, and then they're off Friday, and then they play the Mets Saturday and Sunday. I don't know why they didn't just schedule it Friday.
That sounds exhausting.
Have them travel Thursday.
I don't know how y'all play every day like that.
But we're just built different. I don't know what to tell you.
But there's a lot of sitting, like you said.
Yeah, there's a lot of sitting. Like there's just a lot of downtime. That's why there's so many commercials in between innings. You know, if you're not hitting, you're like sitting. You know, if you're not, yeah, that's pretty much it. You know. So you really it takes a toll on your body, but not really. Just
does the same pitcher play every day?
No,
that's impossible. I'm about to say that's got to kill.
So starting pitchers, they play every 5 days because, they throw a lot and they throw harder than normal people. Mm-hmm. So they play every 5 days. So like Sandy started Thursday. Now he won't play. He's not gonna pitch today. Tomorrow, Sunday, he's gonna pitch Tuesday. It's 5 games from now.
Yeah.
You give them the break. So bullpen pitchers pitch back-to-back days if they only pitch like 1 inning. Because the thing is like 20 pitches. I think it's like 20 pitches or less. It's 1 day of rest. 40 pitches, 20 to 40 pitches, 21 to 40 is 2 days of rest. 40 to 50 is 3 days. Or 40 to 60, 60 to 80 is like 4 days of rest. And then 80 plus is 5 days of rest. That's like the standard that people follow. So like in the World Series, the guy who started like the 5th game, because like you're gonna have your best pitcher start the first game of the World Series, he's gonna come pitch like the 5th game, and then he'll probably pitch like as the closer in the last game if you go all 7. You'll bring him in from the bullpen because he's your best pitcher, you know. So that's what it is. So like Ohtani is like an anomaly. So he pitched yesterday. Now he's just going to be DH until like Friday, until Tuesday or whenever.
So he can still play. That's ridiculous.
Oh, he hit yesterday.
Ridiculous.
They're the only team that doesn't have a designated hitter.
Because
he's listed as pitcher.
Yeah.
But then he gets taken out of pitcher and gets listed as DH. Mm-hmm. So it was funny because before the universal DH, they played the Giants, the Angels did, and the Giants are National League, so they used to have the pitcher hit. But they were playing in Los Angeles, and the Angels were home. So there's a DH because you adapt to their rules. And it was the first time that an American League team didn't use the DH and the National League team used the DH because the National League was like, all right, we got a DH now. We're playing American League team. And the American League team, the Angels were like, well, Tani's pitching, so he's going to hit.
Yeah.
So it was history because it was like the first time the rules were essentially flipped.
Yeah.
And now there's universal DH, so now everyone uses it. But
yeah, at the time it was.
Yeah, it's still crazy because he's just broken the rules of baseball. But baseball's in full swing, as you said.
Oh yeah, full swing. Yeah,
right. Basketball.
We're not on golf yet. We're not on golf.
Basketball's counting down. And Masters are coming.
I know the Masters is coming up.
Easter Sunday, next Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely gonna talk about that on Friday.
Yeah.
Friday.
No, you can. Is it always on Easter?
No, it just landed on Easter this year.
It was on Easter like 2 years ago or 4 years.
2019.
4 years ago.
When Tiger won it was Easter.
4 years ago, because I remember watching it. Yeah.
When Tiger won it was Easter. I think 2019.
Yeah.
It just like first week. I think it's the second weekend of April.
Because I was stuffing eggs at my pastor's house when he won. I vividly remember.
Nice. Yeah. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Tigers. Yeah. Basketball's playoff is counting down. Hopefully by next week, Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. Football season coming to an end. OTAs, training camp about to start. Draft coming up.
Yeah.
So
it's got a lot. Still got a lot going on.
Yeah, we got a lot of sports to talk about next week, and I'm excited.
I'm excited.
You know, we're 11 episodes in. This is episode 11. I almost said 12.
Episode 12 is next week.
Yeah, next week. We're 11 episodes in. 12 recordings technically because of our special March Madness bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we're flying. You know, we're getting better. We're getting more comfortable.
We got some emails. Hopefully, we'll get some more emails.
We do got to get more active on the Twitter though a little bit.
Yeah,
I do be slacking on that.
Oh, do you want to talk about, or do you want to save that?
I'll say it. No,
you don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah.
We can keep it. You know.
Because we know a lot of people. You know, they want to listen to it, but they're like, oh, we don't have Spotify. Yeah. Like me. I'm not a Spotify guy. I'm an Apple Music guy, but I am
this is
Apple
a
Music
Spotify podcast. How
I just have Apple Music. You know,
crazy.
This goes up on Spotify, but
crazy.
Starting with this episode going forward, we will have like Undisputed did what was it? 2022. So last year, they would put out, you know, like the whole episode. It's like a podcast version with like, you know, just a picture on it and you just listen to it on YouTube. And
we're coming to YouTube.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. We're going to use our logo.
Look out.
We're going to use our logo that
brand new logo.
Yeah, that I made. Yeah, Photoshop that and put it on there, put the audio under it and upload it to YouTube. So people that don't have Spotify don't have to come at me anymore.
Yeah, don't worry.
And be like, "Oh, you're only on Spotify." Like, I'm sorry. I use Anchor. Anchor's, you know, to Spotify. But we're gonna be on YouTube as well. We want to, you know, expand our arsenal.
Yeah, if you're still on Apple and don't feel like opening YouTube, I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah,
that's on you at that point.
Yeah, we're working on it, but please, just give us the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
you know? We got a lot. We know we're two college kids. We're trying our best. But yeah, you know, we're gonna be on YouTube starting today with this episode. Because if you listen to this now, it's gonna be out there later, and it
should be fun.
Yeah,
we'll see how we go from there.
We're gonna be on YouTube and Spotify. So we're gonna be on multiple places for you to listen to us, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna be excited.
Email at theplayersclubpod@gmail.com, Twitter at theplayersclubpc. You know, we need to get back on that, but
we do.
Yeah, it's soon the YouTube.
Yeah,
I don't know, probably Players Club, something like that.
Yeah, it'll just be the Players Club. Just keep it simple. Keep it us. So
can't wait. It's exciting.
Yeah, you know, we'll be back next week.
Yep. Hopefully, you know, you want Miami.
Yeah.
FAU. Something good.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have a lot of things to talk to you guys about, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bye.